I'm going to talk about how people are going to be repulsed or attracted to us depending on how we live our lifestyle. Uh, and you're going to find it no matter what you do, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, like whether it be politically uh, or spiritually, especially. There are people that, if you have a beard like I do, that are going to say, "Oh, well, that's not necessary," or "It's not a Torah command." And they're right, it's not necessarily a Torah command. It's hinted at in Leviticus 19:27, where it says, "Do not harm the edges of your beard." You can't harm what you don't have, though. And David's men were disgraced by having their beards shaved off, and he says, "Stay here until your beards grow back." And it's hinted about head covering in Numbers 5, where for the adultery test, where her hair was unbound. Well, if it was unbound, it obviously had something on it, and this is before the days of having the hair ties like we do today, and like I'm wearing one in my hair at the moment. My hair's pulled back, which would be obvious to anyone who watches any of my videos, but and there are people that aren't going to like that I have longer hair. There are people that think I look homeless, or that I'm this, or that I'm that, because I have long hair, or because I have a beard, because I wear tzitzis, because I wear tunics at times, because there are people that say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't wear a tallit in public." I've been told that by some. "Oh, well, the Jews will be offended by it," some of them. And so that repulses some. But there's others that will be attracted to someone like me because they see that I live a certain way, and they see that I'm trying to live my convictions. So there are people that are going to be attracted. There's going to be people that are repulsed. There are people, head covering same way. For head covering and modesty for women. When you find, one of the things that you'll find is that a woman that embraces head covering and modesty is going to have more opportunity to talk to a Muslim woman than some woman that wears short shorts and revealing clothes or whatever. There's no way that you're gonna be able to communicate with a Muslim woman if you're dressed like that. It's just not gonna happen. And you're not gonna be respected by the Muslim men either, to try to witness to them by the way you dress. If you dress modest, if you dress have a head covering, things like that, there are things where the Muslims respect that. They appreciate that. I've heard about people can get into conversations better that way. But there are going to be those that are going to say, "Oh, well, you're free to dress any way you want to, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to embrace head covering. You don't have to embrace modesty." And those people may be repulsed by those that believe in head covering, modesty, things like that, or beards, beads. Beards maybe especially when it comes to women, finding men attractive or not. So it's just one of those things. You're not going to please all of them, no matter whether you're hardcore embrace Torah a great deal, or have a great deal of conviction about different things. Sabbath, the holy days. A lot of people will kind of respect conviction to some degree, but the others will say, "Oh, that's legalistic. Oh, you don't have to do it that way." Like the Christian church, "Oh, well, you don't have to. The food laws are done away with. The holy days are done away with. The Sabbath is done away with." Even though, like with the Sabbath, it comes from the time of creation, during into Genesis 2 or 3, where it says God rested on the seventh day. God blessed the seventh day, and He rested on the seventh day. And it also points to, the Sabbath points to the years, where they didn't plant crops, and it was a Sabbath rest for the land and for the animals. And the millennium, it points to the millennium, about entering the Yeshua's rest, Jesus' rest, rest of the Messiah, and that's just the way it is. That that those things matter. But you're going to find people that say, "Oh, well, that doesn't matter, you're being legalistic, blah, blah, blah." And some will be repulsed by that. They don't have tolerance for that. And, such is life. And then you're going to find people that want to be Torah terrorists and say, "Oh, well, you're not going far enough. You're not doing this, A, B, C, D. Or you're not following the rabbinic stuff of A, B, C, D." The differences between rabbinic Talmudic stuff and what is actually in the Torah. You'll find people that will argue that stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So don't get discouraged just because someone says, "Oh, well, you don't have to do this, or you don't have to do that, or you're not doing enough. You're not going far enough with your practice," and that kind of thing. Don't get discouraged by those things. Because we all have our own convictions. Some men have convictions to have beards, some do not. Some people have conviction to wear tzitzit, some do not. Sabbath, holy days, whatever. And some do not. So just take that in mind when you look at when you're doing things and people are judging you one way or the other. Realize you're not going to please all of them. It's never going to happen. Whether you obey things strictly or whether you are loose on things, you're not going to please everyone. Shalom, shalom.